basement with a calibrated smile, a 90-degree posture that lasts a little while. The world outside demands a high-gloss finish, darling. So I tuck the frayed edges, hide the parts that are starting to splinter, to show the strain, the silent wear and tear. It's a costume change that I'm forced to wear. And every day I carry the heavy armor plate just to stand my ground and keep the wolves from the gate. But the moment the key turns and I slip through the door, I feel the tension dropping down to the floor. You don't ask for the highlight reel, the polished narration. You just hand me quiet grace and soft affirmation. This is my caustic sanctuary, low lit and slow tempo, the one place where the volume of my anxiety stays low. You let the defense mechanism fall, let the structure bend. You accept the final version and the way the story ends. And you love the unedited footage, the scars across my chest, a comfortable silence where I finally can rest. This is the shelter built for all my blemishes and fears, a safe space where the broken pieces disappear. I came to you with a history etched deep in my spine, a long list of people who tried to redesign the architecture of my spirit. The walls built wrong, they needed fixing, patching up a whole new song. But you looked at the cracks, the slightly crooked slant, and called it character, something elegant. You saw the rough draft, the pencil marks erased, the frantic, hurried choices that I never quite faced. So when I pull the stage makeup off and the veneer starts to break, and I let you witness every single mistake, you don't flinch or move your focus to the clean, perfect side. You just pull me closer, say there's nothing left to hide. This is my caustic sanctuary, low lit and slow tempo, the one place where the volume of my anxiety stays low. You let the defense mechanism fall, let the structure bend. You accept the final version and the way the story ends. And you love the unedited footage, the scars across my chest, a comfortable silence where I finally can rest. This is the shelter built for all my blemishes and fears, a safe space where the broken pieces disappear. I don't have to translate the language of my pain or justify the fact that I'm flawed like the pouring rain. You don't require reconstruction, no required renovation. You just witness the soul in its current configuration. Or you don't just tolerate the weak spots, you invite them to stay. You're the only reason I can finally pray that this quiet kind of acceptance never fades away. This is my caustic sanctuary, low lit and slow tempo, the one place where the volume of my anxiety stays low. You let the defense mechanism fall, let the structure bend. You accept the final version and the way the story ends. And you love the unedited footage, the scars across my chest, a comfortable silence where I finally can rest. This is the shelter built for all my blemishes and fears, a safe space where the broken pieces disappear. Where the broken pieces disappear. Yeah, you love the unedited, the slow tempo. Just breathe, just be here. No more requirements, darling. We can just exist right here in this perfect safe space. Oh, safe space.
I gotta tell you something. The world outside demands a full script. But the minute I cross your threshold, I finally feel the silence slip.
Fortress of poise, a high gloss finish, careful to mask the background noise. Every sentence measured, every insecurity tucked away. Performing confidence just to make it through the day. Tired of being the highlight, real version of myself. A polished photograph I keep stored on the top shelf. It's heavy, baby. This summer I've been wearing, but I know that soon I'll be back to where you're carrying. Cause when the keys hit the bowl and the door finally shuts, I can drop the act, shatter the glass, I expose the subtle cuts. I don't have to edit the parts that I despise, I just sink into the comfort I see reflected in your eyes. You let me be I still feel the lingering fears, the silent desperate leads. I can pull back the curtains on the shadows I house, the ugly truth about the things I whisper to my spouse. Most people look for closure, they look for clean lines, but you trace the cracks, treating them like ancient design. You never rush the process, you just hold the line steady and remind me that I don't have to always be ready. I didn't know how tight I was holding my breath until you told me it was okay to choke on all the mess. And when I step into your light, I see my shadows don't run, they just settle down beside me like the day is done. You let me be an edited draft, the pages full of ink blots and mistakes in the math. No final polish, no need for the lights, just the quiet shelter from the cold, lonely nights. This is my zero gravity space where I can finally breathe, show you my real face. You're the anchor that keeps me grounded and free, the only place I'm allowed to just simply be. They say true beauty is refined, but they don't understand. The true acceptance of the soul is the work of your hand. I used to think my flaws were weaknesses I had to mend, but in your presence they are reasons to begin again. You show me that broken pieces still catch the sun. Yeah. The mirror keeps score of the hours I spent polished, wiping off the heavy light the world demands I hold. I left a careful composure draped over the chair back. Every single knot I tied to keep my spine from folding. I'm tired of holding my breath, waiting for the first critique of the rough seams and the tired lines mapping out my week. You see the residue of all the battles I fought just to get here. And you don't reach for a brush, you just tell me to come near. I don't have to stage the entrance, don't have to cue the smile. I can leave the filter on the shelf just for a little while. You are the zero gravity zone, where I stop calculating my worth. The only latitude on earth where the flaws look like gray snows. In these unvarnished hours, you just accept the humidity of my soul. Baby, this is the safe space where I come home. Perfect alibi. Here I can finally stand under my own imperfect sky. Yeah. Oh, I brought the weariness and all the frayed edges, the places the city couldn't sand down or smooth away. I waited for the hesitation, the quiet moment you lean in and say, I think we need to mend this. Where should we begin? Instead, you just trace the hairline fracture I usually hide with a laugh. You didn't try to fix the history, you just held the narrative close. You let me show you the parts of me I usually keep tucked away, and whispered that's what makes the story beautiful, babe, every shade. I'm dropping the pretense, walking away from the stage, turning the lock on the performative gilded cage. You are the zero gravity zone, where I stop calculating my worth. The only latitude on earth where the flaws look like gray snows. In these unvarnished hours, you just accept the humidity of my soul. Baby, this is the safe space where I come home. Clauses, a rental agreement, something I could lose if I didn't hold the shine. But you handed me the deed and the key to the basement where I keep the doubts locked up, and told me it's all mine. That's not just tolerance, baby, that's sacred ground you're offering. The freedom to be undone and still feel worth loving. Just let me breathe in this room you built for me. No judgment in the echo, only gentle light. My safe space, my safe space, yeah. Finally home, finally seen, unvarnished and perfectly me. Oh, 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 I carry a blueprint for the face I have to show. The perfect pitch, the posture set just so. They want the high gloss picture, the finished work of art. Never the rough sketches hidden in my heart. When the world outside demands the finish line, you just ask to see the broken timeline. I peel away the satin, drop the heavy silk, and show you all the places where the concrete built its way into the cracks that were supposed to seal. But you say those shadows are the parts that make it real. And every time I brace myself for judgment, you lean in. You touch the frayed edges where the armor used to begin. This weight I thought I had to carry all alone is suddenly the quiet comfort of a temporary home. You're my safe harbor where the ship runs aground. You don't just tolerate the static, you love the sound. This is the only mirror where the light doesn't bend. You see the beautiful mistakes that I couldn't mend. My sanctuary skin, my net, did it fine when I'm the broken melody? You adjust the dial. You see the good in the goodbye, the grain in the film. You love the rough draft of me, standing perfectly still. Huh. I come here stained with failure from the week that's just gone by. My plans dissolved to vapor, hung like mist up in the sky. I don't have to apologize for moments I missed the mark, or explain why I sometimes fumble in the dark. You never ask me to hold the pose or iron out the crease. You just pull me closer, whispering, find your peace. Like a handwritten letter, creased and worn with time. You trace the lines of worry, saying every single one is mine. And they don't diminish me, they just make me more complete. A soulful, complicated rhythm that you know how to meet. Yeah. And every time I brace myself for judgment, you lean in. You touch the frayed edges where the armor used to begin. This weight I thought I had to carry all alone is suddenly the quiet comfort of a temporary home. You're my safe harbor where the ship round your wall. You don't just tolerate the static, you love the sound. This is the only mirror where the light doesn't bend. You see the beautiful mistakes that I couldn't mend. My sanctuary skin, my net, did it fire when I'm the broken melody? You adjust the dial. You see the good in the goodbye, the grain in the film. You love the rough draft of me, standing perfectly still. They taught me that perfection was the cost of being seen, but you showed me authenticity is what beauty truly means. You changed the definition of a flaw inside my head. Now every scar is history, every tear is something shed that leads me right back here to the promise in your eyes, where the pressure of performance quietly dies. The grain perfectly still, perfectly still, still. Strong to hold the camera steady. Every angle practiced, every smile ready. Trying to filter out the static in my head. Living in HD, but sleeping in dread. I'm a carefully constructed silhouette, baby. Built to handle the scrutiny of maybe. I know the choreography of keeping it tight, hiding the fractures beneath the soft stage light. It's an exhaustion that no caffeine can mend, waiting for the moment that the long day ends. But the instant I hear that deadbolt click shut, the heavy armor that I wore just turns to dust, and the volume on the world outside goes down. You don't just tolerate the dark spots on my soul, you highlight all the places I can't control. This is where the ceiling fan can see my tears. You neutralize the noise, dismiss the hidden fears. Yeah, you love the rough draft, the undated version of me, before the polish and before the final decree. Don't ask for perfection, just the truth I couldn't find. You are my low-light confession, where I leave the best parts behind. I'm a chronic overthinker, I leave the plans undone. Got a tendency to panic before the race is run. The silence in my mind is never truly clean. Sometimes I'm just a faded gray instead of vibrant green. I showed you the scars that the daylight would ignore, the messy history etched behind the closed front door. You didn't flinch, you didn't blink, you just pulled me near. Said that's the texture, darling, that's why you belong right here. Oh, it's an exhale deeper than I knew I could take. For goodness sake, this is the first breath I ever truly made. The moment I feel your hand slide into mine, recognize the safe has fucking sign that the volume on the world outside is on. You don't just tolerate the dark spots on my soul, you highlight all the places I can't control. This is where the ceiling fan can see my tears. You neutralize the noise, dismiss the hidden fears. Yeah, you love the rough draft, the unedited version of me, before the polish and before the final decree. You don't ask for perfection, just the truth I couldn't find. You are my low-light confession, where I leave the best parts behind. They ask for high gloss perfection, the diamond already cut, but you cherish the pressure, the what ifs and the buzz. It takes more strength to surrender than to fight. Letting go of the ideal in this soft amber light, it's sanctuary. Yeah, this is the only space where the mask melts off and reveals the true pace of a heart still learning how to be, still learning how to fly. And you just look at me and say I wouldn't change a single word. by definition, a careful pose for every single scene. Checking the lighting, perfecting the position, making sure the edges are impeccably clean. I master the art of the perfect composure, the silk lining draped across the broken pieces, a heavy kind of armor that I put closure on every little doubt that slowly increases. But the key turns in the lock and the script is discarded. I feel the tension melt right off my shoulders. There's a small soft window where the night has started, and I know I don't have to keep the perfect folders. I just stand outside the door, taking a deep breath before I let you see the real thing. This is where the static clears, the frequency is known. This is the unedited hour where my true self is shown. You're the only set of eyes that doesn't try to smooth the seams. You love the cracked foundation of my deepest restless dreams, and I don't have to filter the mistakes I try to hide. You take the acoustic version, nowhere left to run or slide. My safe space, my sacred ground, the only place I'm whole when I'm broken down. I can pull back the cuff and show you the old scar tissue, the ones from battles that I fought alone for years. And I can tell you all the petty childish issues, the things that keep me sweating, drowning in my fears. I don't have to translate the shame I carry, the fear of being too much or not enough for you. I just lay the heavy, imperfect inventory and watch you smile, saying, baby, I see you. The pressure's lifting now, the script is fully gone. I shed the polished skin that I wore through the day. I'm letting down the guard that made me feel so strong, because protection's worthless when you choose to stay. This is where the static clears, the frequency is known. This is the unedited hour where my true self is shown. You're the only set of eyes that doesn't try to smooth the seams. You love the cracked foundation of my deepest restless dreams, and I don't have to filter the mistakes I try to hide. You take the acoustic version, nowhere left to run or slide. My safe space, my sacred ground, the only place I'm whole when I'm broken down. I used to think that acceptance was conditional, a careful trade-off based on what I could provide. But your love is something fundamental, nutritional. It doesn't ask me to be beautiful inside. It asks me just to be, just to exist right here. And somehow every shadow finds a way to disappear. You didn't fix the picture, you just cleaned the frame, and suddenly the imperfection glows the same. Oh, you love the cracks in the glass, every chip and every smudge that I pass. Every smudge. It's the acoustic version, baby, slow and true. And I'm so accepted here with you. The unedited hour. Yeah. I'm sinking into the silence now. Finally home somehow. I used to budget my breath, ration my life, polishing the angles before I stepped inside. Kept my history locked down behind a bolted closet door. Didn't want you searching through the shelves for all the things I couldn't afford. I wore my confidence like a heavyweight coat, a thick facade hiding every single nervous note. Afraid that if you saw the stitches loose beneath the sheen, you'd rewind the moment, decide I wasn't worth the scene. With you never rushed the reveal. You just pulled up a chair and waited for the feeling to heal. Said, stop trying to smooth out the edges, darling. I like the silhouette the storm is carving. This is where the armor falls off, babe. No need to modulate the sound. This space is calibrated just for the things that still spin around. You look at the cracks and call them character. You don't try to polish the stone. This is my unfiltered canvas, and here I am, finally known. I came to you weighted down by heavy expectation, a list of apologies from every past conversation. I brought the pieces I swore were too sharp for your hand. Expected you to shake your head, refused to understand. But you took those fragments, those jagged, difficult parts, and you placed them gently right next to your own beating heart. You don't require me to be the glossy, finished version. You're focused on the beauty of the ongoing excursion. Yeah, you never rushed the reveal. You just held the space steady for the moment I could finally kneel. Said, stop trying to smooth out the edges, darling. I like the silhouette the storm is carving. This is where the armor falls off, babe. No need to modulate the sound. This space is calibrated just for the things that still spin around. You look at the cracks and call them character. You don't try to polish the stone. This is my unfiltered canvas, and here I am, finally known. Yeah, every other mirror showed me what I had to hide, but your reflection tells me I don't have to try. Nobody else could ever touch this frequency. They wanted perfect rhythm, flawless symmetry, but you designed a soft place for my broken things to rest. And now I realize my quiet truth is the one you love the best. This is where the no need to modulate the sound. Just let me hear you. The space is calibrated just for the things that still spin around. Step onto the threshold of your space and feel the heavy armor start to slip. Outside I'm porcelain and high gloss lace, a perfect quote that's practiced on the lip. I spend my hours smoothing out the seams, worrying the chip paint of my dreams, hoping no one clocks the nervous twitch, the constant pull to hit the light switch. But the moment your eyes meet mine, I know the performance budget just hit zero. I don't have to check the mirror twice or calibrate the tone to sound precise. The atmosphere here settles like the dust, and everything I built on fear and rust just melts away, slow and deliberate. This is where the rough draft gets to breathe, where the tapestry of flaws starts to weave, the place I let the foundation show its cracks, where I can finally relax my tired back. You don't just tolerate the mess I make, you understand the shape of every ache. This is shelter in the scars, baby. You don't fix the broken parts, you just love me just as I am. I leave the weight of judgment by the door, the silent critic screaming for a score. I sink into the sofa sighing deep, the kind of tired only freedom keeps. I can bring you stories steeped in shame and hear you whisper say my honest name. You see the fingerprint I tried to hide, the crooked line where I had slipped and cried. You call the failure stepping stones of gold, a chapter in the story yet untold. I don't have to check the mirror twice or calibrate the tone to sound precise. The atmosphere here settles like the dust, and everything I built on fear and rust just melts away, slow and deliberate. This is where the rough draft gets to breathe, where the tapestry of flaws starts to weave, the place I let the foundation show its cracks, where I can finally relax my tired back. You don't just tolerate the mess I make, you understand the shape of every ache. This is shelter in the scars, baby. You don't fix the broken parts, you just love me. Every other landscape pushes back, tells me I'm too faded off the track, but in your presence, gravity reverses. The need to be impeccable disperses. You show me that the worn and softened edges are better than the sharp defensive ledges. You taught my anxious heart how to be still, a lesson I was too afraid to feel. This is where the rough draft gets to breathe, and it breathes. Flaws starts to weave, I let the Just love me just as I am, just as I am, yeah, just as I am. I'm safe here, safe space of landing. No need to pretend, this is where it ends. The hiding, the hurry, just as I am. I spend all day in a high gloss finish, polishing the angles that I think you need to see. But when the clock hand turns and the city goes quiet, I feel the seam showing the version that's just me. I got a small inventory of things I try to hide, the messy thoughts, the moments where I almost broke inside. I keep the house lights low, never trust the morning sun, cause the truth needs shadows where the hiding can be done. But you're just walking like you read the fine print. You pull the curtains back on every single dent, and instead of wincing or trying to correct it, you just lean in close and tell me why you respect it. This is the blue hour, where I can turn the volume down on all my self-doubt. You give me permission to let the rough edges out. Unconditional gravity, that's what this room is. You don't try to fix the chip in the porcelain, you just love the history. You just let me swim in the blue hour, my safe space. I came programmed to believe that love was payment for being perfect, for the flawless arrangement. Had a lifetime of people who wanted me on mute, until I sounded like the perfect manufactured lewd. But with you, I can skip the script, I can't forget the lines. I can put my heavy armor down and leave the mask behind. You see the complicated math, you see the missing steps, and you tell me that's the fingerprint, the reason why you kept coming back. So now I just walk in, I don't even check the mirror. The reflection doesn't matter, the understanding's clearer. You don't need correction, you never need a change. You just trace the outline of everything that's strange. You give me permission to let the rough edges out. Unconditional gravity, that's what this room is. You don't try to fix the chip in the porcelain, you just love the history. You just let me swim in the blue hour, my safe space. It's not just tolerance, baby, that's too passive. It's an affirmation, strong and massive. You are standing in the rubble and you're calling it home. You're the quiet frequency where I don't feel alone. You don't require me to be the melody, you let me be the rhythm that just sets the whole heart free. This is the blue turn the volume down on all my self-doubt. You give me permission to let the rough edges out. Unconditional gravity, that's what this room is. You don't try to fix the chip in the porcelain. You just love the history. You just let me swim in the blue hour, my safe space. Yeah, my safe space, where the light hits different. Oh, the blue hour, where I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be me. I just have to be me. And you say that's enough, always enough. The blue hour fade out. Spend my whole day polishing the glass, trying hard to make the image last. A perfect curvature, a flawless line, convincing everybody that I'm fine. But the pressure of that weight is heavy on my chest, holding up the fortress just to pass the test. I'm tired of the spotlight when it finds the frame. I'm done with acting like I know the way. But the moment that I cross this threshold floor, I feel my tired shoulder drop the armor I wore. This is the only place where the facade can fall, and you still answer every single one of my calls. You don't ask me to edit the hard parts out. You love the blueprint, not just the finished route. You see the crack in the pavement, you let the light seep in. You call the mess I am the best place to begin. You are the quiet corner, the velvet room, where my unfinished edges don't feel like doom. My sanctuary, where the truth can be exposed. You accept the masterpiece even while it's composed. I bring you every brittle, broken thing, the chip paint and the useless feathered wing, the mistakes that I keep circling back around, the secret fears that never make a sound. I thought I had to hide the history in my heart, pretend that I was perfect right from the start. But you just stand right here in the dimly lit hall and see the beauty in the effort of a fall. And here when the latch clicks on the heavy door, I don't feel like I have to fight anymore. This is the clarity, the bright state of grace, where I don't need to put a filter on my face. The hard parts out. You love the blueprint, not just the finished route. You see the crack in the pavement, you let the light seep in. You call the mess I am the best place to begin. You are the quiet corner, the velvet room, where my unfinished edges don't feel like doom. My sanctuary, where the truth can be exposed. You accept the masterpiece even while it's composed. Every mirror I've held up has lied to me, said I needed symmetry and flawless gravity, but you turn the focus to the texture of the scar. Remind me that the process is exactly who we are. I don't need to build myself home for you to see the value in the woman I am struggling to be. Oh, this isn't just refuge, baby, this is home. I finally feel rooted, I'm never alone. You don't ask me to edit the parts out. You love the blueprint, not just the finish. Now that you get crack in the pavement, you let the light seep in. You call the mess I am the best place to begin. You are the quiet corner, the velvet room where my unfinished edges don't feel like do my sanctuary, where the truth can be exposed. You accept the masterpiece even while it's combined. Just let the brush strokes be messy sometimes. Let the rhythm skip ahead a few rhymes. Safe space, yeah, that's what we found, where the truest versions of us abound. Blueprint and the brush strokes, baby, that's all you need from me. I spent 20 years walking in high resolution light, every single blemish magnified under the spotlight, polishing the surface of the things that didn't shine quite right, keeping up the narrative of clean lines and flawless sight. It's an exhaustion, baby, holding up the heavy glass, praying that the tremors of my spirit wouldn't pass through the veneer I built just to be deemed worthy of love. But the way to being perfect was a ceiling not above. But the moment I step over your threshold, the sound changes, the frantic rhythm of the city starts to rearrange its pace. The air is warm and still, and suddenly I realize that I can breathe for the first time. You are the softest focus in a world that insists on a harsh line. You let me be the rough draft, baby. You never asked me to refine. This is the shelter for the quiet panic, the place I can't afford to let my shoulders slump to leave my history explored. It's the unedited frame where my chip paint is revered, and every single fault line I possess is welcomed here with you. I don't have to win, I just have to be. Yeah. I came to you with holes burned through the fabric of my confidence, the remnants of old storms that left behind no innocence. I tried to warn you of the darkness, the times I lost my way, but you only pointed out the quiet strength that made me stay. You didn't flinch when I unveiled the pages I had torn out, the awkward truths I used to whisper in a silent shout. You looked at every scar like it was a signature piece, proof that I survived the pressure, proof that I found release. And it's the strangest kind of grace, this simple quiet knowing that the flaws I fight so hard to hide are the rivers softly flowing into the deep ocean of the peace you hold for me. and suddenly I'm weightless, suddenly I'm free. You are the softest focus in a world that insists on the harsh line. You let me be the rough draft, baby. You never ask me to refine. This is the shelter for the quiet panic, the place I can't afford to let my shoulders slump, to leave my history explored. It's the unedited frame, but my chipped paint is reversed, and every single fault line I possess is welcomed here with you. I don't have to win, I just have to be. They said acceptance was conditional, tied to my success or failure. They promised love only came packaged neatly with a perfect tailor. But you look beneath the thread count, you love the fibers that are thin. You see the messy, soulful thing that lives deep within. It's not tolerance, baby, it's a revelation. This is the only steady ground in the whole wide nation. This art, oh, I just have to be in this soft light. You shine on me, the unedited version. Finally home, I can just be. I spend my whole day measuring shadows, trying to fit the frame, polishing the exterior until the surface wears your name. The world demands a flawless marble statue, smooth and cold. But I'm more like weathered bronze, the story's etching into the fold. I learned to tuck the tremors back behind the neatest smile. Tried to eddy off the stuff, tried to perfect my profile. It's an exhausting rotation, spinning plates until they crack. But when I cross your threshold, I feel the rigid tension slack. The gravity of expectation gently floats right to the floor. And the only question is, what was I hiding for? You are the mid-tempo rhythm where my beating heart can finally rest. You don't just tolerate the cracks, you highlight them the best. This is my perfectly alright. I've had lovers who saw my uneven edges and handed started me a fight, demanding symmetry before they linger for a while. They said true love meant mending what's broken, fixing every seam. But you saw the tapestry of chaos and called it a beautiful dream. You don't hand me a mirror to check if my imperfections are neatly disguised. You're handing me a magnifying glass, showing me where the treasure lies. My mismatched rhythm finds your beat, never lagging, never late. And when I cross your threshold, I hear the lock click soft and straight. Not locking me in, but keeping the harsh critiques below. The only certainty I need is the moment that I step inside. You are the mid-tempo rhythm where my beating heart can finally rest. You don't just tolerate the cracks, you highlight them the best. Hey, this is my lonely velvet room where the soundproof walls keep the judging now. I can finally breathe out the almost and the should-be's. There is no censorship now. In your unfiltered light, baby, I am perfectly alright. I spent years building defenses, structures made of pride and perfect stone. But you walked right through the scaffolding and told the real me to come home. This isn't a temporary shelter, not a weekend lease. This is the architecture of my deep, undeniable peace. The only mask I wear here is the honesty of my breath. Acceptance isn't tolerance, it's victory over self-inflicted death. You are the mid-tempo rhythm where my beating heart can finally rest. You don't just tolerate the cracks, you highlight them, my man. And the best, this is my low rip, this is my lonely velvet room where the soundproof walls keep the judging out. I can finally breathe out the almost and the should-be's. There is no censorship now. In your unfiltered light, baby, I am perfectly alright. Perfectly alright. No editing required tonight, just the safety of your arms, baby, in the glow of your light, the unfiltered light.